Well, how we doing on this Tuesday afternoon? I'm having a great day. Yes, I still dress like it's winter time. It's probably 55, somewhere between 55 and 60 degrees outside right now. Even though it's warm, slightly cool, I'm still wearing my toboggan, my fleece jacket thing. Because too many people will go out in weather like this thinking, hey man, it's like summertime, it's springtime, I can wear shorts and a t-shirt and I can run around and be all great. And then a day or two later they're sick and they're like, I can't figure out why I'm sick for. So even though it's February and even though it's warm temperatures, a lot warmer than what it should be, I'm still dressing like I shouldn't for wintertime because I don't want to be those statistics of the people that they go, I don't know why I'm so sick for, why I got mucus coming all over the place. But that's not the point of the video. The point of the video is I try to repurpose everything that I do so that I don't waste anything. And my waste is cut down to a minimum. Now, the other day, I had my last jar of peppers, and I had them on I did it inside the house this time. I didn't do it outside like I normally do, because it was just cold, and I'd probably dragging shit back and forth and everything else. So I was like, you know what? I'll just do it inside, be done with it. So the only thing I didn't do was the very last step inside. I did it outside. So this is. It's a half-gallon mason jar, and as you can see, there's a pretty good amount of doohickeys, as I refer to, in there. Now, this is ground up peppers. Now, you're probably thinking, well, anybody can do that. Well, what I do is take the lid off this. After I grind up, I'm going to pull this tray off. After I grind up all my peppers, and actually I try to boil them in the salt water brine that I have. Well, it's not salt, vinegar, salt, garlic brine that I have. I dehydrate them. And I take it, put it on my little, they call this a roll-up, like a fruit roll-up sheet or a jam sheet, and a dehydrator. And basically, I put it out on that tray piece and I dehydrate it. This stuff here almost feels like think of like a Triscuit kind of cracker. It's kind of like that, but I'm gonna grab a smaller piece so it doesn't break up as easy. You can see all the pepper fiber and the seeds and everything else. There's a bumblebee floating around. What do you know? But yeah, I dehydrate it, and then I try to dehydrate it for X amount of hours. This is a miniature little grinder blender thing, and basically little teeth on it, nothing major. And I stick it like this, chunks like that. Of course, I'll break this up because that's a big piece. I try to break it up as small as possible, to where it grinds easier and there's no clumpages or anything else like that of hard pieces after it goes in there. And after I grind it up to a nice good consistency that I want, let me get my spoon out of here. Man, enough to burn, enough to take your breath away almost. Wind's blowing, so gotta be careful, don't blow my face. I'm not sure if you can see all that or not, but there's some green. There's a bunch of different. There's a lot of green in there, because on some of these peppers, I even grind the stems up. Let me see if I can knock some of that off. Bring it a little closer. I'm not sure if you can see all the color or not, but I load this in some of my 37mm rounds. Can't tell this is a garbage truck or... Yeah, it's a big garbage truck over there at the dumpster. But like I said, I load this in my for my OCS rounds for my 37mm, and then on top of it, I also stick it in containers, and I'll take it to the farmer's market and I sell it as weapons grade chili powder. And some of the people get a tickle out of it when they see where it says weapon grade chili powder, and they kind of laugh. And a few people ask me how come I call it that, and the reason why is because in all your pepper sprays that they sell over the counter, that law enforcement use and stuff like that, it is cayenne pepper based, and anything stronger than cayenne pepper in pepper spray is considered high grade, weapon grade pepper spray. Like a lot of the military, FBI, CIA, stuff like that use. They use the higher end stuff, and it's considered weapon grade. So, since I have peppers in here that are way hotter than cayenne pepper, I just call it weapon grade chili powder. And you know, this is the last byproduct of my hot sauce that I make. And you know, a lot of people, when they get done making it, they'll take this, they'll just throw it in the trash, or they'll scoop it in something, then throw it in the trash, or throw it outside. And I did that a couple of times, and basically I was like, I'm wasting a product that I could be using for something else. So what I did was I was like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is what I did. So I started dehydrating it and everything else, and because I made, you know, I used to dry peppers all the time, like string them up and let them air dry, then grind them up to a powder and use that kind of stuff for you know, my chili powder or stuff like that, little remedy things. And I was looking at one time, and I was like, there's a lot of pulp here, a lot of seed and everything else that I could grind down and use it for something more than just, you know, throwing it away. And since there's the new craze is, let's burn our guts out, let's eat things that are so hot that it makes your tongue feel like you're sucking on needles, I was like, why not save what I've been using, dehydrate it, grind it down like I would like a dry pepper, and be done with it. And that's what I've done. Now, you know, this isn't really nothing fancy, it isn't nothing major, but this right here, the amount that I have in my jar, when I started making my other peppers, I was down about right here on my jar. That's about how much I had in here. And from making my other hot sauces and everything else this past few times, and grinding all the peppers and stuff up, from what I have right here, the rest of the way up is basically how much I've gotten. Now, once I feel, when I grind this up, where it's sitting at right now, it might go up maybe just a fridge of a fraction, which is fine, because I'm going to keep adding to this so I fill this puppy up all the way up to about right here. Because once I do, then I'm going to take my handy dandy plastic reusable spoon, and I'm going to scoop out. No, I'm not going to bring it up too much. Nope, not going to happen. Wind's blowing. I want this blowing back in my face and killing me. I can put that jar away. It's blowing across the rim. Just having it blow across that rim lit me up inside. So, but there's Tabasco peppers in there. There's serrano peppers, jalapeno peppers, chili peppers, Thai peppers, Habanero, Carolina Reaper, Trinidad Scorpion, Chocolate Bugala, Scotch Bonnet, Ghost Pepper, and there's a couple others. And it's a mixture. I just grind everything up, and it all goes in that container. And whenever I make my OCS rounds, scoop everything off of this. I'll put, this is my plastic spoon, I'll put like this much of a scoop in one of my rounds, but actually I put like 2 scoops of this size in one of those rounds. So that way when I shoot it down range and it goes boom, it explodes, and that pepper powder goes all over the place, I'm covering about 10 yards of area of powder. So if you're within range of that 10 yards or close to it and you breathe it in, I've just immobilized you for at least a couple of minutes to a few minutes to you know, whatever time, and yeah, you're in pain. And you know, and the reason why I know this is because one time I shot something downrange, and basically the wind was blowing back towards me, and when it did, I caught whiff of what I shot downrange, and it put me out of commission for about 3 or 5 minutes. So if that can be taken care of, you know, from what I did to myself, just by, you know, by trial and error, I could imagine what it'd be like with my improved version of it. And yeah, it will definitely make you wish you never stepped foot in my area. But this is just something that I do on the side as well. You know, I don't get rich from it. I don't, by any means. I wish I would have brought one of my containers. My container's probably, I don't know, my finger out of the way, about that tall, probably about that big around, and it'll hold, I don't know, a quarter to half a cup, no, it's about half a cup probably, of that chili powder. And I sell it for $8 a container. And I tell people all the time, because I've sold a few bottles of it. I had like a bunch of them, and but I've sold a few containers of it before at the farmer's market. And I tell people, now, I originally had started doing this. I'm gonna break up some of these pieces while I'm talking. I had originally made some of this a long time ago as a seasoning for like meat, stuff like that. And one of my real good friends lives over in Bardstown. Basically, one evening they were cooking dinner on the stove. They had some, I don't know, cube steak or something like that. It was some kind of meat of a steak form, like a cheaper kind of meat. And they had sprinkled this on the meat while they were frying it in the skillet. And it had a really good flavor, well, not flavor, but like a really good fragrance at first. And then, as they replied, is it went from really good for the first few seconds to really bad, because then all the grease from cooking it in the skillet that was, you know, aerating around the house, basically, as they refer to it, is you walked in the house with pepper spray and you started spraying the house, like walking around like air freshener. And they all ran outside choking and gagging and spitting and everything else. And they said they learned really quickly that you don't use this kind of stuff while cooking indoors, especially frying meat in a skillet. And of course they laughed about it stuff, and they you know, they said at the time it wasn't a laughing matter, but because they said afterwards, you know, they just kind of sat back and laughed about it, which, you know, everybody should. And but yeah, that's what I tell people at the market every time they buy this: do not use this in the house while frying stuff in the skillet. I said, because I told them what they told me. I said that it aerates, and it just, if there's anybody that has any sensitivity, like breathing wise, this will definitely screw them up. And but yeah, it's great. I get some people, a lot of people don't like the hot sauce that I make, but they enjoy this chili powder, which, I guess to each is their own. I don't care, as long as I make somebody happy, that's all that matters to me. But that's why I'm in the process of right now. This is my last jar I made. I plan on sometime in the near future seeing if I can go online. I know I'm talking my head down. And see if I can find somewhere online that has fresh peppers, like that has not been dried. There's yeah, they might be a few months old, whatever, but I don't imagine this time of year, unless you buy it from like California or Arizona, and even then, it'd be kind of iffy, other than maybe a greenhouse type thing. I'm getting, this is just killing me being this, and this is in my lap. There's probably about a 2-foot gap between my face and this thing. And that's right there is what I've gotten so far. And I got just this one here piece left. And when all this is ground up, it'll be probably somewhere about right there, jar wise, well, container wise, of powder. And then I have to let this sit for at least 20 minutes or so before I even attempt to open it. Because I screwed up one time being in a hurry and a rush. I opened this up one time after I blended and ground everything, and yeah, it was not fun for me. It's as I refer to it as it might be offensive to some of y'all, but I call it retard moment number 1, because I didn't give enough time to settle the dust and everything. And I assumed, well, it's already ground. I don't see much dust floating around. I'll go ahead and open it up. Wrong. Yeah, I paid for that one. It took my breath away like crazy. But this is just one of the few things that I do. And another thing too, which I shouldn't tell you all my secrets, but whenever I make, say, elderberry jelly or blackberry jelly, things of that nature, I'll keep all the pulp that's left over, and I will basically do the same thing as I do with my peppers, like this. Now see, this is my pepper tray. It's all nasty and fungally, and I got all kinds of crap on it, and I use this for peppers only. That's the only thing I stick on here, nothing else. Because even though everything is, I mean, I don't care how much you scrub this, it will never be pepper unfriendly. So, but with all that being said and done, that's why I have me another dehydrator. This is my outdoor dehydrator. It was given to me. So I don't mind if it gets a little fugly or jammed up or whatever. But my good one's inside the house. And I got like 9 trays on it. And that's what I use for my good stuff, like my jellies, my leftovers from jellies and jams and things of that nature. Then what I do is I dry that out, and I'll grind that to a fine powder. And once I do that, I have a separate container, and say like if you want elderberry powder, I got elderberry powder. If you want blackberry powder, I got blackberry powder. If you want peach powder, I got peach powder. You know, I save all that stuff because, say, like if you're cooking something and you don't want to put the actual fruit in there, but you want the flavor of the fruit, take that powder, sprinkle a little bit inside there, and boom, there you go. You got the flavor of it without the substance of being there. So, but I do all kinds of things. I try to reuse everything as much as possible. The wife gets mad because I don't throw metal cans in the trash, and I don't throw aluminum cans in the trash like a lot of people do. Because I was watching a thing online some years ago, and it says the average American family of 5 or 4 plus goes through roughly a ton of, like, soup cans, you know, just your vegetable can, soup can, whatever. They go through about a ton of cans a year. And I was like, you know what? If that's the case, that's why I quit throwing them in the trash. So I save my dog food cans, my sardine cans, my soup cans, my vegetable cans, anything that's made of that special tin. Either I wash it out, I'll definitely peel the paper off, and I'll throw it in a different container, and I'll save them up for about a year, and I'll haul them off all at one time. And I make pretty decent money just turning in your basic stuff that you turn in what you throw in the trash. Now, I know everybody can't do that because a lot of people don't have the room for that. And then again, there's a lot of people that are like, well, that just makes my yard look like junk, or, you know, something like that, which I understand. Some people want a pretty yard that looks like a golf course, and they don't have the room for it. I understand. But I live in the county, and when I keep saying we got to clean up the yard, that's what I'm referring to, is because I have so much scrap metal piled up that sometimes the cats will come through there, or the possums, the raccoons, and they'll smell something good. They'll tear open a bag and drag all kinds of crap out, trying to find that smell that they get, you know, the aroma to. So, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass at times, but, you know, I look at it this way. Even if I do what I'm doing, and it keeps that much out of the landfill, then, and I feel as my part is I've done something good for the environment. And, you know, I should put the cap on this thing, it's about to kill me. I've done something good for the environment, and I feel better about it, and I can go to bed at night with a clear conscience. So, but I'm gonna shut up, turn this puppy off. You might see me again later this evening. You don't know. So, but until then, make the best of today. Have a great week wherever you're at. Be productive at whatever you're doing. And if you can find a way to cut corners without causing you problems, cut some corners. Till then, I'm out of here. Y'all have a great day.